seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish. I'm joined with a very special guest, Jacob, and today we're going to be recapping last night's game, the preseason game of the Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. And the Houston Texans kind of blow out the Packers 26-7, a 19-point differential, and this was a pretty good game, I think, for the Texans, a team that was projected to go 0-17 this season, and they have a nice showing out in preseason. Obviously, the main topic of this game is going to be the quarterbacks, Davis Mills. But let's start talking about Tyrod Taylor. He started the drive 4-4, 40 yards, so 10 yards per throw, and I think he looked really confident, really solid, and I think he showed great command of the offense.
Yeah, I like the way Tyrod performed. Seemed like a capable starter. You know, led the offense down the field. Couldn't convert, but got 3.
Yeah, I know. I think this kind of shows how Tyrod is, how it kind of coincides with all the camp reports of him being a leader, and that's kind of Tyrod's game, is that he's been a poised player. He's very underrated, I feel like, and he's never really gotten a chance. It's always been injuries that's gotten in the way, or young quarterbacks that have shined. And obviously we have a young quarterback here in Davis Mills, who played for, I believe, the like after the first drive, and primarily in the first quarter. And the second quarter didn't play at all in the third or fourth quarter, I think. So that was kind of, I wish we saw more from Davis Mills, but like playing wise, but he did kind of solid. I think there's a lot of nice flashes. I think the most impressive throw that he had was when he was on the run, and he threw like a 50-yard pass to Anthony Miller. He couldn't quite get that catch down, but I thought that was pretty impressive. And he got rocked on the very first play. I think not the very first play, but like 2nd and 7, and he got rocked by the Packers defensive player. And right after that, he was really poised. He kept his cool, and that's what you need from a quarterback, a guy who doesn't really falter under pressure. And Davis Mills, he had a really great series in which he converted like 2 or 3 third down conversions of like his 3rd and long too. And so I think Davis Mills, although he had 1 interception, well, what did you think about Davis Mills' performance yesterday?
Man, I saw some good flashes, but he definitely needs to work to be able to be on a starting level in the NFL, I think. That one throw to Kiki QT on that screen was really awful. The interception didn't look good, but the throw to Connolly impressed me on the sidelines. I think it was like 3rd and 13, and he picked up the first there.
Yeah, I think with Davis Mills, it was his first game in his NFL career, and if you consider where he was drafted 3rd round, I think he did not too bad for a 3rd round rookie. And he completed 50% of his passes, had 112 yards. And yes, there was another play that was missed. It was like a walk-in touchdown to Scotty Phillips, I believe. He just missed him. Like, he could have like threw it a little bit lower. But yeah, he missed those gimme passes that were right there with him. But he made some nice throws, obviously. The one to Nico Collins was really nice, and that really showed Nico Collins's potential. I mean, as a big, fast receiver, and he was looking good. A 24-yard reception that got us into the red zone. Sorry, and yeah, I think Nico Collins really showed out. And in terms of other players on this team, like other rookies, like Roy Lopez, he had a tremendous sack against Kurt Benkert or whatever. But I think as far as Davis Mills goes, I think we'll get to see him more in the preseason games, but he did pretty well for his first showing, I believe. Obviously, you don't want to get carried away with preseason, but I think he did pretty solid. And then Jeff Driscoll, he wasn't that great, but he did good as a lead blocker for Darius Jackson, I believe. And so that was a nice play by Jeff Driscoll. But our defense, I think, was a nice surprise. They only held the Packers. They held the Packers to 49 total rushing yards, and our rushing defense was one of the worst in the season last year. And so, but we were kind of getting diced up by Jordan Love and Kurt Benkert for a little. Love had 122 yards, Benkert had 88 yards, but we somehow held them to 7 points. So that's really good. We end up getting 3 turnovers, one being a forced fumble caused by Jonathan Grenard, and then another one was a fumble by the other team's running back, and Jaleel Johnson recovered both of them. And then Traymon Smith, Traymon Smith, he got an interception. So those are 3 turnovers, and I believe the Texans were also kind of last in the league in terms of turnovers like produced. So having 3 turnovers in your preseason game obviously goes to show how much Lovie Smith has been kind of honing in on getting turnovers and stuff like that. I mean, with that Tampa 2 defense, I guess that's kind of more conducive to that.
Yeah, the defense was impressive, especially against the run. The passing, there was some flashes, but overall the passing defense over the middle struggled. But that was the only real complaint I have for the defense.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment as well. And Lonnie Johnson made a nice pass breakup too. But yeah, I think the defense was very good. Eric Murray was making great tackles, like in the open field. Some guys who had the most tackles on the team: Hardy Nickerson, Keon Crossan, Terrence Mitchell, Eric Murray, Traymon Smith, Shaheem Carter made a nice tackle. Garrett Wallow had 3 total tackles, 2 solo tackles. And also forgot DeMarcus Walker, who had a deflection on a Jordan Love pass, causing it to be incomplete. So there's a lot of guys who kind of played well this game. And I just want to ask you, which players stood out today? Stood out yesterday.
For me, it was Tyrod Taylor, Chris Connolly, even Nico Collins had a nice catch, and Brevin Jordan.
Yeah, I think those guys. I think Chris Conley really stood out to me as well. I knew he was gonna be good, but I didn't know he was gonna be toe tapped by the sideline good. Chris Conley was really impressive. He was making catches all over the field, kind of almost like bailing out the quarterbacks of the crazy catches he was made. I think Davis Mills Davis Mills threw to him, and Conley made a diving catch. So that was a really nice showing by Chris Conley. And Scotty Phillips, I believe, was one of the other guys who impressed me as well. I think he's never really gotten the opportunity to play like running back for this team. I think only a few games he's played. And I think he definitely deserves to stay on this roster. A lot of people were saying he should be cut. Just I don't know why, but he should definitely stay on the roster. He showed really good flashes. Scottie Phillips, he had 13 carries, 66 yards. His longest rush was 25 yards, and he got a touchdown. And so that was really good. He was really explosive. I had a lot of bursts. And then Buddy Howell, another guy who's very underrated. He never really gets to play running back, but he's our special teams guy. Had 8 carries for 38 yards. His longest rush was 12 yards. And then Darius Jackson, we made a video on him. He got a touchdown. He had 5 carries for 37 yards, and his longest rush was 25 yards. So all those guys, I don't know if they'll make the starting. I mean, Buddy Howell makes special teams, of course, but we already have our 3 running backs in Mark Ingram, David Johnson, and Philip Lindsay. I don't think they'll see any playing time, sadly, but I think they're going to be good depth pieces for sure. I don't know how that will work out, but yeah. Do you have any comments on the 3 guys I just mentioned there?
Yeah, Scotty Phillips really impressed me with his just running ability. He ran through the tackles, and he just looked explosive. Big chunks of yards pretty consistently. That impressed me.
Yeah, I really liked what I saw from Scotty Phillips. I really hope he gets a real chance someday, maybe. But also Anthony Miller, he made 2 catches for 15 yards, 7.5 yards per reception. And then Brevin Jordan, he had a nice 11-yard catch that moved the chains. And just talking about moving the chains, that's what Davis Mills was doing. That's what you like to see. He was composed and he kept moving the chains no matter what. And also return wise, I almost forgot. Desmond King, he had a nice punt return, 43-yard punt return. I think that's like one of the better ones we've seen. Way already better than DeAndre Carter in his time here. And so yeah, I think Desmond King, he probably has a spot as punt return specialist. I think that was his role, or that's what he also did in for the Chargers. So maybe we'll see that. I mean, we also had Alex Erickson returning punts. He had 2 punt returns for 8 for 16 yards. So it wasn't that great. Kiki Kichi also returned a punt too. But yeah, I think Desmond King could be our solidified punt returner just because of that 1 punt return. But yeah, I think our whole team had a nice showing, and David Culley, we were watching the game. He was really hyping guys up on the sidelines, and you could really show that how much energy. He's a ball of energy, and despite his age or whatnot, he is. I really underestimated his capabilities, but I think he's going to be a solid coach for us. I really want him to do well. I mean, he came into the situation knowing what was going to happen. I mean, with all this organizational turmoil, I guess you could say he's not doing a bad job considering what the hand he's dealt with. And Nick Caserio, got to give props to him for building a really nice roster, and a roster with a lot of depth, like a lot of guys who want to compete. And yeah, and Cam Gruger-Hill also made some nice plays. Ross Blacklock obviously was getting a lot of pressure. Vernon Hargreaves wasn't as great as we said he was going to be in the preview video that we made. So I don't know what's going to happen with him, but Jonathan Grenard, like I mentioned earlier, he had a forced fumble, and I think Grenard really said he wanted to have that kind of impact on the defensive end. But let me ask you, in terms of players who struggled, which players struggled to you in your eyes, and do you think they'll be cut?
Um, Number 24 on the defense, I've forgotten his name, but he had a pick, but overall he really struggled. Besides that, um, that was all. That was the really spot that I saw that was consistently struggling.
Yeah, I think Traymon Smith was his name, and he also had let me see. He also had a pass deflection. Wait, let me see. Yeah, I think he had a pass deflection as well, and also along with that interception, he did kind of look bad, but I think that interception also allows him to stay on the roster for now, I guess. And also forgot to mention, Ryan Izzo wasn't the greatest. I mean, I don't think he had too many snaps, but he didn't look too impressive. He always seemed like the kind of that outside guy in terms of like the tight end room, because you already have Pharaoh Brown, you have Brevin Jordan, you have Jordan Akins. That's already 3 guys, and then Kahale Waring, I don't know if he'll make the roster either, because like I said, those 3 guys, I'd say I'd have above Kahale Waring, and so Kahale Waring might be cut. Ryan Izzo will probably be cut, and I don't know what's gonna happen with Rex Burkhead. He didn't play. I think he's still recovering from an injury, so we'll see about that. But those are the guys who didn't really stand out too much. Hargreaves, I don't think he'll be cut, but he did kind of struggle this game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up the video?
No, I think we covered everything.
All right then, and so yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on last night's game, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you all for watching. Peace.